We've just had the first proper frost, as you can see on the grass, and the shed roofs, they've got frost. Not a massively strong one. We're still being protected by the Gulf Stream at this time of the year. But I can see by the wind turbine looking out over the valley that I've got a northeasterly wind. That means I'm going to have an opportunity to get something of a wave. It's small. I've missed a swell that was about 2 days ago, and basically because I missed that, I'm going to try and get in somewhere today. It's going to be small, but it's a case of I've got to take what I can get. As you can see, my car windows are completely froze over, so that's probably going to be one of my first jobs before I can go anywhere. Right then, board choice for today. That one in there, which is a really nice board to ride, or it was before I put a little bit of weight on, is basically a 7.0 by 21. Really floaty, but it's not going to be man enough today, I don't think. The one on the bottom is an 8.7, and that's 23¼ inches wide. A beast of a board, and it picks up and rides anything, and you can still get that out in moderate size surf. I'm possibly not going to take that one. The top one is my go-to board, which is 7.10 by 22. That seems to work pretty well for me in all conditions, even down into small conditions. But I do believe I'm going to give this one its third outing. This is a 10.6. It is a beast of a board, this one in itself. In fact, it's a battleship. But I believe this could get its, well, should I say, not second. I think it's its third outing today. I shall take my other board, that 7.10, just in case something does pop up that is worthy of taking something of that size in. But yeah, I've got to get my stuff together now. I'm actually quite excited to actually take this one today, I think. Well, I've just made it to POLZEATH and there is a small wave. The wind has picked up, but it's definitely longboardable, so I'm going to get in. I can see 3 guys over there. Well, no, a few more over by the cliffs. Yeah, this looks like it was a good call. There is a set coming in over here. Now, it does look like it's about 1.5 foot, possibly a little bit more on the slightly bigger ones, but still nothing to write home about. But I'm going to be able to get some waves on the longboard, so I'm going to get that and get ready. There's a couple of longboarders going down there, looking direct into the sun, and yeah, this is looking a fantastically glorious day to get in the water. You can definitely see this board is a wave catching machine. Like I said, I haven't ridden it much. I had it made for specifically these type of days, so it's going to be interesting. I haven't used it enough to get the full potential out of it yet. As you can see, I do need to do a proper wax job to this board. It's been a rush job just to put wax on it, and it was not done properly, just smeared on. Yeah, so I'm going to get some wax on this and get in the water. Right, I'm out. I'm very pleased with how the board went. I surfed this board the last couple of times in smaller surf conditions than this. It paddles in well. I've got the actual paddling points where I need to be sussed now, and it does get in very early. I can make the most of conditions like this. Yeah, the wind was quite bitter there and flattening some of the waves, because it was, even though it was offshore, it was pushing them flat. The waves didn't have enough oomph to stay upright, but this board managed to cope with it. Yeah, so I'm going to get changed and have a little chat about POLZEATH. I've had to scamper home. That wind was just too much to do anything with a camera. It was just beginning to really roar. So yeah, I loaded up and came home, and I'm going to finish up here. Now, POLZEAth is a place, shall we say, in North Cornwall, but sits on the Camel Estuary. The area is surrounded by, shall we say, a lot of holiday accommodation, caravan parks. It's got a lot of second homeowners within the area. House prices are dear. It's basically, the picture I'm painting is it's a holiday environment by and large, and it has a very affluent body of people that do surf there during the summer months and the busy months, so you can't get away from that. There is a strong local contingent that does surf there, and they usually are drawn in from the Weybridge, Camelford, Launceston and the surrounding, shall we say, towns and villages that are within, shall we say, an hour's drive. The reason they go there is quite simply, it is possibly a very easy surf. And when I say easy surf, I mean you can get there reasonably well via the road systems. You have ample parking, some of it free at New POLZEAth, overlooking the beach from the cliffs. And on top of that, you've got access to view the surf before going in, which is always a bonus if you're doing it on the cuff, you're not quite sure of the conditions, or you possibly want to check it out before moving to, shall we say, another location to surf, which you've already identified, but you just want eyes on to check the surf. Now, it has shops, it has places to eat, and places to go for a drink. It's not a town, so you can't be expecting the full amenities of a town, but it has surf shops and, like I said, everything that you could want in a small contained environment just for your immediate day trip, or should I say few hours at the beach to either surf or just to have a family beach day. So it is well placed and suited for those needs. The wave itself, which I'll come on, is also very well suited to a wide variety of, should we say, beach activities. Right then, I suppose you got to get to the point about the wave itself. Right then, like I said, people travel there because it's what I classify as an easy surf. There's no hiking into the surf. You can view the surf, you can check it out, leave if it's not to your taste, or the size of swell hasn't materialised, or it's bigger than expected, or the wind has switched direction. It gives you that eyes-on ability before a surf, or to move on to another location, as I've just said. But the wave itself, if it's good surf, you can expect there to be a large volume of people in the water. Not only a large volume, but a wide range of surf craft and activities. Everything ranging from just, free swimming, bodyboarding, surf kayaking, canoeing, surf skis, longboarding, shortboarding, kneeboarding, papio boards, stand-up paddling. It's all there. You're going to be in an area which is going to be possibly have every kind of surf, shall we say, device that is imaginable. But that being said, it is quite a large area as the tide drops out, so you can find room, shall we say, so you can all accommodate yourselves within that area for a wave. The only thing I will add to that is, coming to POLZEATH, you've got to realise that by the very nature of going to POLZEATH, you are going to be going to a place where other people are, and they're going to be surfing, and they're looking for that very same thing that you are, an easy surf and the ability that that wave offers them, i.e. it is not, shall we say, a exceptionally, shall we say, serious wave to contend with. So by that very nature, coming there, you are putting yourself in that environment, and you have to be aware of it. The reason I'm saying that is there's no point turning up and getting frustrated if you're an experienced surfer, you know, and you're surrounded by 200, shall we say, beginners, inexperienced surfers, or even, shall we say, the beginner stage, or the ones that are moving out into the line up from the white water to get their first grips of surfing. You will have to contend with that, and I strongly suggest, if you find that irritating, or you cannot shall we say, handle that, you're probably not best suited coming to POLZEATH on a good surf day. So putting that aside, I have to say that because going to POLZEATH, you literally have to drop your mindset down a few gears on a good surf day, and learn to be happy with the, shall we say, the feel and the vibe, which is all inclusive, everybody having fun, and fully inclusive environment for surfers of all kinds. So yes, you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be able to adapt to that scenario. Having said that, when the surf gets past 3 foot, which is what you will find those conditions happening, above 3 foot it usually does thin the crowd out. But it's still manageable to paddle out and do whatever you need to do as a surfer out there. Once you start getting to the 4 to 6 foot range, what will happen is, not only will the surf crowd thin out, you will have to contend with lines of white water. There's no real way around it at POLZEATH. When the tide gets from mid-tide to low tide, you will have to be able to duck dive proficiently and be able to paddle hard and fast with a reasonable level of fitness to be able to make it out the back on a 4 to 6 foot day. If the surf is beyond 6 feet, I don't really recommend, you know, being out there, because there are other spots that work if you're an experienced surfer to actually engage waves of that size. When it gets past 6 feet, it can be just, you know, one big washing machine of white water after white water. People have ridden it and do ride it when it gets bigger, but like I said, there are other spots that offer, shall we say, better conditions to surf in at that point. Right, the wave itself, like I say, if you're sat in the sea, looking out to sea, waiting for a wave, scanning the horizon, on your right hand side there will be a cliff that rolls all the way out to sea on the right hand side. Now that does offer some protection from the wind, but it is basically an open beach really. The biggest waves that roll in usually happen, shall we say, on that side of the beach, and you can see the sets will quite happily stack up there on the banks, sandbanks, and provide a nice long ride. They are sought after, and usually find the guys on the bigger boards, and shall we say the better surfers, do seek that particular spot out. but there are banks that pop up along the whole of the beach, particularly at the lower stages of tides. Now, the wave itself isn't a top to bottom one. I mean, you can certainly get days when things all align, like let's say the swell, the wind, the sandbanks and everything like that, where, you know, it can get to be a really nice wave. But in overall terms of wave quality, you're looking at a nice wave which will wall up and give you a nice long ride. I'm not saying that it doesn't occasionally on the inside throw up a nice section that you can tuck yourself into and cover up, but it's not really thought of as a spot where you're going to, should we say, go barrel hunting or chasing barrels. But they do happen there, you know, like everybody who surfs knows that spots will throw something up occasionally. But the quality of the wave is a grade A fun wave in the moderate size range, and you know, everybody can get their fill, and it provides basically a easy, or should we say non-taxing takeoff, followed by a nice drop into the wave, and in most cases it will provide a reasonably long ride. Now I'm saying reasonably long because I'm comparing it at low tide to some of the should we say sandbanks further up the coast towards a Bude. When they get to low tide, you can be looking at just a wave that will dump and close the whole beach out, whereas POLZEAth, and I'm putting that down to possibly it be having the river estuary nearby, completely should we say keeping sand replenished by the water coming out, and that's my theory, I could be wrong, but it 9 times out of 10 you go to POLZEAth at low tide, you will find banks, whereas sometimes heading towards Bude, and most Bude surfers will have experienced this, that you get to low tide, no matter how good the swell is, the perfect the wind direction is, at low tide on sandbanks you're just watching the whole beach close out. It's frustrating, and if you don't have time to wait for other spots to fire, or you don't have time at that moment to wait for other sandbanks to start doing their thing, POLZEAth can be, like I said, an easy surf. Get there, do your surf, get home and get back into whatever routine or what other should we say things you have to do. So yeah, that's one of the advantages of POLZEAth. But yeah, the wave itself is of a average quality, and it will occasionally step up to provide some really good quality waves, but you have to as a rule say it's an average quality wave, fun, extremely playful, and a wave that will keep you coming back to POLZEAth. There's no two ways about it, and you know, everybody who surfs there on a regular basis can easily pull out from their memory banks surfs they've had there which really stick in their mind as being some of the best they've had. There's some waves going over, some quite nice ones, about 2 feet. The one out the back is just beginning to crest. A bit sloppy, but yeah, it was definitely worth getting in for. Alright, I'm going to wrap this up because I don't think there's anything more I can cover about POLZEAth. It's not a secret spot. It's just, like I said, it is probably considered local to people in London. But no, just a quick point on the fact of, and I'm not going to labour this, safety. Even though I've stated that it's of an average quality, you know, sort of wave. People have lost their lives there. It's not anything to be taken lightly, your safety and the safety of others in the ocean. So don't overestimate your abilities in the ocean, and don't underestimate the sea conditions. Always live to surf another day, and like I said, always read the signs. Ask lifeguards if they're in season and around, possibly even other surfers kitting up, for advice, or even check out online. But yeah, just think safety, and always remember you're better off to come back to surf another day than go in and, should we say, need some assistance to get out in one way or another, or things go bad. So yeah, that was just a quick, it is I'm probably stating the obvious here to most people, but I just wanted to throw that in because no matter what I've said about the wave there, it has claimed lives. So yeah, be a little bit respectful and come back to surf another day.